Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen, from whatever part of the world you're beaming in today. And for those of you in the audience watching the playback, welcome to our presentation, A Better Way to a Balance in Life, to a Life in Balance. I wanted you to note the three little circles on this screen. They mention really, they encapsulate, I guess, what it is that we're doing here. We're here to make a difference in the lives of people, make an impact on the planet, and in the process of doing that, be rewarded with handsome profits. And something I've discovered here now 26 years ago has changed and transformed my life and the lives of so many people that I care about. And we want to take a minute or two of your time today to share our thoughts about it. There are three presenters today: myself, coming in from Kleinburg, Ontario, Canada; Ben Woodward, who's in the United Kingdom, who will be presenting, as well Bernadette McBurney, who's coming in from San Francisco, California. So please bear with us as we go through our first iteration of this presentation. We hope you enjoy it, and it might help bring you to the next level of your experience of this company that we're going to introduce you to, called Nikken. Well, it starts with a simple understanding of this concept called a compound effect. Think of it this way. Every one of us, our lives, every one of us, everyone we know, our life is in a trajectory, on a trajectory towards something. Now, it's often that we get to a place not really realizing how we got there because we didn't pay very much attention to the details. And what I'm talking about on the left-hand side are the areas of our life that are most important to us: our income, our health, our relationships, our happiness, and whatever definition you consider success. Most of us have been put on a trajectory in life based on our background, based on our education, where we were born, etc. And we're on that trajectory hoping for the best. However, statistics tell us that we're not doing so well. When we consider someone's state of happiness, for instance, or someone's state of health or prosperity, we find that most people are not happy, most people are certainly not wealthy, and most people are unhealthy by statistics. And so what we want to look at, examine, is how do we get to where we're going? And how do we do it on a conscious level? It's the small choices that we make every single day with the consistency of time that creates these radical changes in our life. In other words, we can change our life, and it doesn't have to be a big change in your life to create a big change in your life. That's what this compound effect is so amazing. So similarly, it's the little things that we do on a daily basis that may be leading us toward illness or perhaps the lack of prosperity that we may not even be aware of. But subsequently, it could be the little things that we do on a daily basis, that little incremental change in the choices that we make that could lead us to the health and prosperity that we're really after. But I believe that we've been conditioned to be the way we are in many different ways, beginning with our understanding of what success actually means. And this is where Nikken has made a huge impact in the lives of so many people. A company founded in 1975 with a philosophy to change the world in a very unique way. A way that involves a concept we're going to get into in a second here, but our concept for you today is to learn how to embrace this through this concept of active wellness and collaborative entrepreneurship. I know these are kind of big words, but bear with us as we get into this. Nikken began in 1975 with a definition of success that I think is transformational. In fact, one of the most impactful people in my life once shared an idea that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. I believe this person got it from a fellow by the name of Earl Nightingale. Consider this. What is the trajectory of your life? What are you pursuing? And if you really want a happy, healthy, well-balanced life, then the pursuit of balance in these 5 areas, 5 key areas of our life: mind, body, family, society, finances, would be a pursuit worthy of you, worthy of your life. And so Nikken started with this concept that we can create balance in our life, and in the pursuit of doing that, have a happy and healthy life. Now consider the reality. The reality is most people are not living that way. As we said earlier, the trajectory that we're on, we're very off track for most of our life. Why? What is the stresses that are causing us to feel the way we're feeling? To have the emotions that we're having, which is for a lot of people anxiety, especially in this day and age. Financial worries, health concerns for ourselves, maybe people in our family, lack of time, unhealthy lifestyle, too many demands in our life. That's one of the big ones. Failure to take time to relax, family responsibilities, workplace conflict, inability to accept things as they really are. And these are just a few of the ideas. But when you consider those 5 areas of family, body, mind, society, finances, which one of these areas do you find for yourself and maybe the people you care about most out of balance or most stressed? What we find is the number one source of stress in most people's life is finance. So if we were going to really tackle the subject of health and well-being, we can't do it without addressing the number one cause of stress, which is finances or the lack of finances. Well, again, I believe we've been conditioned. Consider these 4 categories, if you will, of how we earn income. Linear income versus leveraged and residual income. This is a page from a fellow by the name of Robert Kiyosaki, who's one of the best business authors of our time. He wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And in this book, he talks about the way we earn income are basically 4 ways. You're either an employee where you have a job. And in this scenario, it's like that picture. You feel like you're in a box. You have no ability to leverage, not your time, not your effort. The amount of active work determines your income. That's linear, so time equals money. On the bottom left there, we have the self-employed person. You may have transitioned from being an employee to wanting to have some sense of control of your life by being self-employed, where you own your own job. Again, no leverage, and the amount of active work determines your income. Usually the person who owns the business is the last one to get paid. Again, in this scenario, time equals money, and that could mean even those of you who are professionals in the world, if you really look at your income, is your income in direct proportion to the time you put in? Probably, right? On the right-hand side, on the other hand, we have the ideal scenario. I believe most of us would prefer if we were a business owner where we own a system. For instance, McDonald's. That's a very successful franchise system. In this scenario, the people who invented that system have the ability to leverage and create many franchises around the world, and therefore are unlimited in their ability to create income. Their income does not depend on their active work. In this case, they have people working with them or for them. And then our friend down at the bottom here, many of you know Warren Buffett's face. He's an investor, and investments that allow you to generate an income is another way of leverage. But in this scenario, you have to have money to invest in order to do that. And that's a very small percentage of the population. Only 1% of the population actually makes any money this way. But in this case, income doesn't depend on your active work. Your money still works for you. Long and short, on the left side, either an employee or self-employed, that represents a whole 95% of the population who participates in only 5% of the wealth that's being generated. Whereas on the right-hand side, we've got 5% of the population sharing in 95% of the wealth. Now, if you were to have your education over again, which education would you rather have had? The one that leads you to the left-hand side as a way of life for generating income, or the one that leads you to the right-hand side as a way of life for generating income? Well, I went through university. I know I didn't get the education on the right-hand side, and I went through a pretty intense curriculum, and I'm pretty sure most university curriculums don't show you how to do what they do on the right-hand side. They essentially teach you how to trade time for money. And so if you're trading time for money, you'll probably realize that you too are short on time and maybe short on money. So it's the predicament that we find ourselves in that leads us to this financial stress. Now, the good news is, with all of that that's happening, there's innovation taking place, and there's a new economy emerging. We call this the gig economy. I don't know if you remember, maybe when you were a kid, you used to have a favorite thing to do, a gig. I think it comes from the music industry. Essentially, we have independent workers with an on-demand availability for temporary engagements. Now think about this. Why would somebody want a gig outside of their current business or their current job? Well, if you're short on funds and you need to make more money, then you've got to find a way to make more money. And it's usually outside of that particular vocation. But there's other reasons why people are getting into the gig economy and why it's absolutely booming. We're more mobile. We have the ability to do business at this point in time pretty much anywhere, even on our phones. And so that creates opportunities that, unlike the traditional opportunities where a job, you have to show up somewhere and somebody is holding you accountable. Millennials are now joining the workforce, and that's the next generation. So where are they going to find work when most of the baby boomers are occupying the positions of the traditional corporations? Well, they're finding new ways to be employed. It's cost efficient, much more cost efficient. These independent contractor relationships are replacing the traditional employer-employee relationship. It's better for business. And then there's the idea of having life balance or work balance. People are actually looking to do things that they're more interested in when they're choosing a gig. So it's not only because they want to make more money, they want to have more fun and make more money. They want to do something that appeals to their higher sense of purpose. Now, here's some really interesting facts. Take a look at this. Uber, a company that, well, I guess most of you have heard of it, and you maybe even been an Uber driver or either know an Uber driver or have been in an Uber car, but what is it? It's basically the world's largest taxi company today. And, you know, only in February 2012, the company was doing about $60 million in business compared to this huge monolith, General Motors, $54 billion. Consider all the people employed by General Motors. Consider all the brick and mortar and all the money that's in materials in this company, General Motors, at $54 billion in February 2012. And only 5 years later, a blink of an eye in the economy, General Motors didn't move very much in terms of sales and size. Uber, on the other hand, is now bigger than General Motors. How did that happen? How did the company grow so quickly and become so large and not have all of the drapings, if you will, of the brick and mortar business? Essentially, they found a way to employ people in this gig economy. An Uber driver can pick up a car that they already have maybe, or rent one or whatever, and they can, with a turnkey scenario, start making money the very next day once they're vetted. They created a system for employing people so that those people can be self-employed, they can work when they want, and generate an income. And that system allowed them scalability. They could grow exponentially quickly and thus become such a huge company and make such a disruptive impact in the taxi business. They just found a better way to get the job done. Now, here's another example. We've got Amazon. Now, most people have probably bought something from Amazon today, but consider just a short time ago, again, in February 2012, Amazon was worth about $83 billion. I mean, nothing to sneeze at. Big company, a lot of money being generated there. Walmart, well, we've all shopped at Walmart, $212 billion. Again, think of all of the facilities that are involved in operating a Walmart, the employees, etc. And in only 5 years, Amazon is almost double the size of Walmart. Now, where do you shop when you shop? On Amazon. You're right. On your computer or on your phone, from your home, from wherever you are. Far more convenient, far more efficient, and you can buy anything at Amazon that you can find at Walmart. They just found a better way to get the job done. So if we were going to get involved in this thing called the gig economy, there's a couple of things that we're looking for. We're looking for scalability. We're looking for a simple system that we can integrate into our life and jump into like an Uber driver. We're looking for a business that is online because that gives us much more access, it's much more efficient, and it's just simply the way of the future. In fact, it's not even the future, it's the now. And Amazon is the example. So here is where Nikken really shines as an opportunity for us. Collaborative entrepreneurship with Nikken is about taking advantage of the system that Nikken's put in place. It's something that we can easily integrate into our life. You don't need to quit your job. The low cost of entry, for instance, it's $99 to get involved in Nikken and have your own turnkey business. Even an Uber driver, it costs more to be. You know, you've got to have a phone, a cell phone plan. You have to have a car, insurance, gas. Before you even walk out the door to make your first dollar, you're already into it, $500 to $800 per month. With Nikken, $99, you can turn a profit immediately. We have a turnkey system. We have online portals. We have a company that's set up an infrastructure to do a lot of the difficult work that gets done behind the scenes, kind of like the Amazon. And we have a leadership development plan for those of you who are looking to become an entrepreneur. This may be a first time being in business for yourself or being self-employed. How do you learn how to be in business? How do those people on the right-hand side of the equation learn to be successful? Well, they probably were guided and mentored because they sure didn't get their education at university. They got it from working with people who are already successful doing the things that they were doing. And we have such a program. And then I just want to round out by saying it's the perfect gig. You know, you're not just trading time for money. As we'll see in a minute, Nikken is a gig built on purpose. To introduce us to that, Ben, why don't you share with the group what Nikken entrepreneurs do?
Thank you, Mike. Well, we want to take these two key words again that Mike referenced earlier around leverage and compounding. But first of all, I want to emphasize when we talk about this gig economy, if you look at the huge growth that Amazon has experienced over these last 5 years that Mike referenced, what is it that Amazon sell? I think if you were to put it into one word, it'd be convenience. Uber, probably something similar. But it's also been said that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And one of the great benefits that Nikken offers with our gig, with the opportunity to partner with us, is a great purpose in what we're doing. Some companies sell convenience. They help others get from A to B. But we can add abundance and enrichment and added value and purpose to people's lives in a way that can really make them have a whole different experience of happiness on a new level. And that can be deeply rewarding for us, as well as those that we get to influence. So at the heart of what we do, that's our why, that's our motive. That's what gets us out of bed in the morning. That's what gets us out on late nights, on wintry evenings and what have you. But we can utilize this gig economy to offer people an opportunity to improve lives and, of course, as we said before, to generate an income. It's that triple P business model that Mike referred to at the beginning. We want to change people, improve people's lives. We want to impact the planet. And of course, we want to be able to be rewarded with profit for doing so. And that's something that we do there. So in Nikken, we create teams of entrepreneurs. That's where the collaboration comes in. And so to start us off in that process, step number one is really quite straightforward. Like he said, for 99 US dollars, it's a similar price in Canadian or in British pounds, depending on which part of the world you're dialing in from. But we join Nikken and we start, as it says here, with a commitment and a plan to enjoy the incentives that are on offer. In Nikken, you can work as hard and as fast as you wish, as fast or as slow as you choose. You are your own boss. And so because of that, Nikken will offer incentives, either cash prizes, luxury trips, special bonuses, and so on, that will incentivize you to move forward and build your business to newer heights and to greater levels. What is it we do in order to get those rewards? Point number 2 there shows it's nice and simple. We share and we promote both the products, the business opportunity, and the cause. And like I said, the cause is something really important. To me, that is the foundation. That is the why behind everything that we do. That's the whole driving reason behind why we're in Nikken. And so we invite people that are interested, where we see and they see mutually an opportunity to be enriched and to see their lives improve, either as a customer enjoying the products or as a business builder where they want to utilize the opportunity to get them out of that box that they may feel trapped in, to liberate themselves financially. Whichever route is best for them, we invite them to join us. Our job is not to take away from anything good that they have in their lives. Our purpose is to simply offer them more. And so that's what we do. What does Nikken do? This is the bit that I love, because there are a lot of people, like Mike said, that may be educated, but did not get the education that shows them how to be part of that circle that taps into the income being generated, that 5% that are creating the majority of the wealth. We don't always have that type of education. So Nikken kind of steps in there and says, with all of their skills, with all of their commercial experience, with all of their insights. They're going to do the heavy lifting. They'll do the inventory management. They'll do the research and development. They'll do the warehousing and the operations. They'll do the legal and compliance. They'll do all of that tough stuff so that we can do the bits that we can do best, which is simply open our mouths and talk about what we love, make a difference, and impact the lives of those around us. And then on fifth, the last point, of course, what else do Nikken do? The fun stuff for us, of course, they provide us the commissions, the special offers, the incentives, the bonuses, the luxury trips, and so on, and the recognition, the pat on the back. I've found in many instances, most people in the workplace, the majority of recognition they get is when they come to work late, if they miss a deadline, if something doesn't quite go according to plan. That's when they get noticed. That's when they get recognized. Nikken likes to do it the other way around. We like to recognize all the good stuff you do. We like to recognize all the times you do the things right, all the times you hit a goal, where you achieve something good, where you reach a milestone, and where you've made a difference. And we celebrate it, and we reward you, and we recognize you, and we build you up. We build your confidence. We build your sense of contribution and your purpose and your value as a team member, so that you recognize that this is a place that you can call home. This is a place that you want to belong to because you're with like-minded kindred spirits. Next slide, please, Mike. And again, I love this principle of people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Our product categories don't work in isolation. They work in harmony together, flowing from one to the next in beautiful synergy. We've got here what we call the Certified Nikken Wellness Home. It's a credible and it's a proven way to influence well-being. So when I talked before about us making a difference in people's lives, showing them how we can improve and enrich, from a product perspective, this is what we do. This is how we get it done. We have air, water, sleep, light, and nutrition, all integrating together to make an environment at home a place that can be of the maximum potential for well-being that we can make our home to be. And for me personally, in our household of 9, it's a busy home. That to me is especially important with young children growing up. I want them to be in the healthiest place possible. Next, please, Mike. What's great about this is not only is it rewarding to your health as a customer, to an end user, to someone that wants a healthy, vibrant, beautifully energy-charged, enriched home, but from a business perspective, it also has some real teeth. You've got the initial startup with the wellness home. Your first purchase helps you get started. It can be large or small. Any product from Nikken gets you on your way. You've got some repeat purchases of products, maybe the nutritionals that you might want to get on a monthly basis, our skincare as well, perhaps, or some of the filters that need replacing from time to time. You can upgrade. You can keep moving forward. You might start with a water bottle 1 month, and then you might move onto the waterfall or the shower the next. And you can keep on moving. You can start out with a sleep system in your bed and then realize that you're being a little bit selfish and get one for your kids as well. And you can move on and out. And of course, Nikken continues to add products to the range to add continued value to this wellness home, which gives us a never-ending cycle of health and prosperity. So what do? We talked about collaborative entrepreneurship. We talked about leveraging and compounding. Let's get a little specific here. When we talk about leverage, what do? Well, we want to leverage the time of those that are experienced already in Nikken. This webinar that we're a part of tonight or this morning is an example of that very leveraging process. You've got 3 people on the call today that are doing the talking on your behalf if you're a consultant with Nikken. If you're listening as a guest of Nikken and you're considering whether or not this might be of interest to you, then this is an example of how you can grow your business. You simply invite someone to a call like this and let us do the talking on your behalf. That makes it nice and straightforward, doesn't it? You don't have to worry that you need to know everything. You don't need to worry about getting all the words right yourself or fumbling in front of your friends or your respected partners. You let someone else do the talking and let us support you in building the business. And then we say we want to compound it, meaning we each want to develop at least 5 wellness homes with our customers, and then find 3 others, business partners that we can reach out, start building a team where others will do the same. And so we have this wonderful system, like I said, of mentors and coaches, a wonderful system of teamwork. This ABC method that we call, where we say easy as ABC. The A is the mentor. That might be someone like myself, for example, that is doing the speaking on your behalf. You might be the one that is the consultant. And then the third person might be the guest coming along to have a look as we work together to build, again, like I said, collaboratively, a purpose-driven community. I love this. I love this slide because what it shows here is that in order to grow your business, you're not going in this alone. There are a lot of people that start their own businesses, and we've all heard the statistics. Some of them vary from year to year, but we all know that a lot of small businesses fail within the first few years. The statistics weigh up against us in that fact. People want ways out. They try and they fail, and they try again and they fail, and that's difficult. In Nikken, you've got a company that was established back in 1975 that is still going here today in 2018. You've got consultants that have been in. Mike has been in for 26 years in Nikken, still going strong and still building the business. And what you've got here is a team that is a support system for you to build your business and to do it with confidence. You get mentors and coaches. You got meetings and events, be they virtual like this one, or in person, as some of you already are together in your various locations. We've got tools and trainings, websites and webinars to support you and help you to achieve your goals. I love this. A great principle of leadership that I learned many years ago, that it is the job of the leader, a great leader, to be able to recognize the potential in others that they may not yet see in themselves. So you might look at that picture and see the apple, but a great leader would see the seeds that lie within it, the many orchards that lie ahead as a consequence of that apple being looked after. So what we do as a team is we make sure that we look after everyone, that anyone that comes in, we want to take care of them, because we see the great potential that lies within every person that joins Nikken to do far greater things than maybe they might presently realize as they're considering their current goals as they join the business. And again, this triple P impact for Nikken: people, planet, profit. We talked about each person finding 3. So on the left-hand side here with the people, you see out there reaching out in numbers of 3. 9, 27, 81, 243, 729, or what have you. You see in multiples of 3 there. People reaching out to other people, encouraging them to make a difference. Having the impact on the planet through introducing them to wellness homes. Each of them reaching out and finding customers that will start their wellness home and set them on a path to a better, healthier environment at home. The home, which is where perhaps the most important place on earth is. And of course, as we do that, we can see as we grow through the business, we get to experience something tremendous, real significant potential for profit that can grow far beyond the capacity of almost any employed position that one might have. That is significant. That is its potential. Now, we need to emphasize, of course, that that is potential and that not everyone reaches their potential. There are people on this call that are exceeding the numbers that are on that list right there today. So it's important to recognize the potential is real and it's available for everyone. But this is the chance to have an impact. And along the way, as you grow your business, this is the neat thing. You can get a wide range of benefits and lifestyle perks to help make the journey fun. Because it's not just about, is it? It's not just about the end destination. It's really all about the journey and making sure that we enjoy it along the way. So we get retail profits, cash bonuses, lifestyle bonuses, and incentive trips. Last year, the incentive trip was to Cancun. This year, it's to Japan, and to next year, it's going to be to Italy. Beautiful destinations around the world that can really just give you wonderful experiences like never before. Leadership bonuses, group overrides, personal rebates, and so on. You don't want to miss out. What I would recommend is that there is everything on the table that is up for grabs, that is there for you if you want to enjoy a wonderful and enriched lifestyle with many friends along the way. That's really great. So with that being said, I want to pass the time to Bernadette to talk a little bit more specifically about the value and role of the products in Nikken.
Thank you, Ben. You know, what active wellness means is really what we do every day. Can I have the next slide, Mike, please? Thank you. You know, going back to this slide, which is the choices that we make. I mean, hopefully everybody will recognize that our daily choices really determine the quality of our life. Whether, you know, just think about from a health point of view, of a food, nutrition point of view, is if every day I chose to go to a fast food and eat fast food every day, maybe the first week I may not feel great, but may not be. But if I keep doing that on an ongoing basis, what would be the compound effect of that choice? If from a financial standpoint is the same. So it's really understanding that the small choices that we make really show up. The end result is what's going to show up after a few weeks, few months, over a year, over a few years. And that's really important. So from a health point of view, how is that going to impact us? Well, let's look at what the body is exposed to on an ongoing basis through our daily life. You know, stress is part of our life. We cannot avoid stress. Stress is an ongoing factor. But what really matters is what do we do to help us deal with the stress that we are exposed to. And interesting enough, stress creates a lot of health concern that could be really prevented. Very important factor. What about sleep? Sleep deprivation or poor quality sleep is unfortunately growing, and not just in the adults, but in the kids. So it's really important. What about the impact of the environment that we submitted in terms of the air, the pollution of the air and the water? Staggering statistics are really showing how negatively our environment is creating an impact. Another, what is the other, so what's the impact on our children? The impact on our children, could I have the slide? Thank you. The impact on our children is really scary. Before, and I'm sure we all agree, there were a number of health concerns that really affected the adults. Now they are affecting our children and our grandchildren. The health trends in terms of the nutrition, for example, what's happening? When you look at some of those statistics, and these are already a few years old, we had 78 million of adults, but what about the children? I don't know about you, I have children, and I look at this, and this is really concerning. And now what about our grandchildren who are coming? What exactly are we creating for them? What is the lifestyle we're providing to them? So quality food is absolutely nutritional. So what is the choices that we can make when we are continuously exposed? It's really about taking care of ourselves. The responsibility of being healthy is in our own hands. It's about being healthy by choice, not by chance. It's about making smarter choices that allow us to really function at an optimum level. So what I love is when we do choose that, it's incredible what the impact may be. So it's going back to the philosophy of Nikken. Nikken has a philosophy of really creating a very holistic approach to life. And it's the same from the physical well-being. The body is one of the pillars that we have in our philosophy. So how do we do that in terms of our physical health? Then Ben mentioned about the Nikken Wellness Home. Health starts at home. This is the place where we nurture ourselves, we nurture our children, we nurture our family. This is an environment we have the most control on. So what about then bringing a program, natural health solution that allow us to do that? When we think about air, water, sleep, light, and nutrition, isn't that all the elements that the body needs? It is. And what Nikken does is provide us a whole range of product, of solution that take care of those 5 elements that the body absolutely needs. Because everything that we do on a day-to-day basis will have an impact. When I looked at Nikken many years ago, my focus was actually, I was looking for a solution to help my daughter. My daughter was 5 years old and she suffered from a chronic breathing issue. And for 18 months, she had no other choice than use an inhaler and take a medication for 18 months. Now, what was really interesting, just by changing and creating a healthy environment at home, within a couple of weeks, that challenge was able just to literally disappear. And for the last so many years, we're really into prevention mode. Now my daughter is 25 years old. And what I love is as my children grew up, for them, it has become just such a natural lifestyle. It's part of their daily life. They drink the water, they're on the sleep system, and so on. And it's just amazing. So we have a range that covers all those elements. And you know what's amazing is when we experience the benefit of something, of whether it's a small improvement or a large improvement, we naturally will talk about it. And the impact that we have is just incredible. So I really encourage all of you who are listening to this is really to learn more in detail about what the products are and what they do. But they will cover all of those aspects that the body needs. We have a whole line of nutrition, environment with the water and the air, and the rest and the relaxation. And we can move on to the next slide, Mike. This is really about planting the seed. Planting the seed and helping it grow. I mentioned about my daughter and my other children, when it was time for them to move to college, because for the last so many years, they grew up with the wellness home. They don't know anything else. When it was time for them to move out of college, I was wondering what they would do, And you know what they did? They took their own sleep system. They took everything with them. And I asked them, why did you do this? Because to this day, I really didn't explain in detail the science behind it. And the answer was just as simple as this one. Mom, we know what it's done for us. We are not moving out with anything that we've been using for the last 19 years. And I love that because they just know. But what was phenomenal, when they moved into the dorms on campus, I have my youngest daughter say, Mom, I have a little bit of an issue. I said, what is it? Everybody wants to come into my room. I say, yeah. And she said, because everybody says when we come into your room, there's a different energy. They could feel it because there was that, and they just loved it. So the impact on our children and the next generation is absolutely phenomenal. So I really encourage us, to really look into this, because it's all about prevention. I really want to stress that what Nikken has to offer is about prevention. So what is the choices that we have? After this introductory presentation, there's 3 choices that you have. One, I would say, each and every one of us, we deserve to be as healthy as possible. How would you feel if 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you have more health and vitality than today? Wouldn't that be a great feeling? Because that's exactly how I feel. And I love it. And it's just wonderful. So it's become a customer. Treat yourself to something that is really going to have a meaningful impact on our well-being. That is the first choice. I cannot tell you how phenomenal it is to see in front of you people have their health improve. It's, from babies to 80-year-old and our pets as well, everybody in between. It's phenomenal. We have solutions that really respond to a universal need. And that is really very important. The second choice, and I'm going to pass it on to Ben as we are closing, is the part-time entrepreneur. Ben.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the second choice, of course, is the part-time entrepreneur. Like Mike said, very minimal risk to get started, $99 US, or its currency equivalent in Great Britain or in Canada. To get started, you can start in your spare time. You don't have to quit your day job. We don't encourage people to go out there and quit their day jobs to get started. This is something you can start in your spare time and build it up over time until it replaces your income that you've got at work. And that's a second option, something to consider that way. And it can be an additional income stream and a chance for you to supplement what you have, or it can be a stepping stone to the third step. Mike, for the third step.
Thanks, Ben. Well, the third step is something that I actually experienced. It wasn't something I was expecting. It didn't take long for me to find myself replacing my full-time income on a part-time basis with Nikken. And even though I wasn't necessarily looking for this as a career, and certainly I didn't expect to be here 26 years later, here I am. And so if there are people out there that do have the time or are looking for a change in their career, to know that this is a career option is important. This is a company that's built to last. It was founded in 1975, and it has given birth to an idea that has continued to grow and seek refuge in the minds and hearts of people all around the world and at various stages of life. For me, I was just sort of trying to find my way at the age of 28 when Nikken fell into my lap. I was hit and miss on several careers, one of which was aerospace engineering, another one was music. And like I said, I did not expect that I would become somebody who would pioneer the introduction of the wellness movement in the world, or North America or Canada, where I first got started. But I started from a bedroom in my father's home, and today I come to you from my home office in Kleinburg. So if you are somebody out there looking for a career opportunity, just know that this is a company that's here, designed, built to last. They say that the lifetime of an opportunity is only as good as the opportunity of a lifetime is only as good as the lifetime of the opportunity. Well, what we've done, what Nikken has proven is that this is an opportunity that's here not only for one generation, but for generations to come. It is a mission and a technology that is timeless and will be needed generation after generation. So perhaps you could help in creating that next generation. So, and final thoughts with any of us here, Ben, Bernadette?
No, we've got a few minutes over the allotted time. So thank you for bearing with us on that. We do hope that this has been of help and that it's raised some questions for you that you feel you need to get answers for. If you do have questions, further questions from this presentation, reach out to the person that invited you to hear it. Ask the questions, get in touch. Our job is to answer them and help you feel comfortable with any of the choices that you have to make.
One quick thought, you know, there's a lot of parents out there who really, and a lot of parents who, and we want it all. And I'm going just to say a little word for women. You know, how many women out there are wanting to be able to focus on family, to have a real career from home, and really have such financial stability and strength? I really believe Nikken is a great way of making it happen. I lived it, and I really encourage that message that we need, because when we bring more parents home, we create stronger families and stronger communities.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We leave you in the capable hands of the people who've invited you to whatever venue you're at. We hope to see you again on the Nikken Highway. Thank you.